You're watching Toronto Sports Rush on the Bet Rivers Network.
Keegan joins us to talk Blue Jays baseball. Keegan, just totaling up the Jays' runs scored in their last 5 games. 2, 3, 4 runs in 5 games. Now, I'm not an analytics guy, but 4 runs in 5 games, that's not good.
Not going to work, man. Unless God is your pitcher, you are not going to win many baseball games. And it's even Dan, beyond the baseball side of it, like I forget this sometimes, but this is entertainment. And this has not been entertaining. You know, 95% of people who turn on the game each night don't care about the exit velocities and the strategies and philosophies. They want to be entertained. And if you lose 10-9 and hit a few home runs, that might be a little entertaining. It's at least watchable for most of the game. But sitting and watching the game last night, you're looking at the 0-0 score. And if you are a pitching purist, maybe you had a great time at home on your couch. There are not many pitching purists sitting home watching this game. It's not been entertaining. It's not been super watchable lately. And that's a real factor. And this is an entertainment business at the end of the day. And wins are the quickest way to get there, but even in losses, these games have been particularly rough on the eyes. There's not a lot happening offensively lately.
I'm glad you brought up the exit velocity, because whenever they bring it up after a home run, they say 100 miles an hour exit velocity. And then I have to sit there and wait for them to tell me if that's good. Because I'm like, tell me, what am I supposed to think about this? I can't be alone.
Oh, yeah. We're at a stage now where there's a lot of puking up StatCast, metrics, analytics, and it's something I need to catch myself on sometimes, where it's my language because I have this strange, narrow job. But for most people, it ain't their language. And over time, it'll be more comfortable for some folks, maybe. But when you're looking at exit velocities, swing speed is the big new one. I'm sick of hearing about swing speed, and this is my job. But it doesn't always deepen someone's experience watching a baseball game. And sometimes all you got to know is, listen, that was hit really hard, usually a base hit. It wasn't this time. But yeah, even on top of that, though, Dan, I feel like I'm on year 3 or 4 of, hey, this team actually hits the ball really hard. They're just having bad luck. How much bad luck can you have here? Come on, let's be serious for a moment. There's always luck involved in baseball, but I think there's, out of the exit velocity and out of analytics and StatCast, which, again, I'm all for, they just need to be used right. But there's this idea that has been born that, listen, all a hitter can do is hit the ball hard. After that, hey, not up to them. Which, come on, like we're playing a sport, we're playing a game here. It's you can't dumb it down that far. I think there's a lot more that goes into it, and some of your own luck is made and created by you. So it can't all be luck.
Last week when we spoke, that was on the eve of facing the Padres. They go and sweep the Padres. And then I followed up our conversation with a text to you over the weekend, and I just said, this team makes no sense because you sweep a very good baseball team. You score a lot of runs, and then you forget how that happened. It can't just be blamed on, they ran into a pitcher they matched up well against, or does it?
It's so bizarre. Man, it can't all be about the other team. I think this is more about the Blue Jays. It's not about running into hot pitchers or anything like that. It's a factor, but not enough. The Jays are just really inconsistent. And at a certain point, and I kind of think this in any pro sport, Dan, but especially in baseball, where everything is very individual versus individual, moment after moment, it's about consistency. Every player in the big leagues can hit a home run off of Jacob deGrom. Every single player in the big leagues can strike out Shohei Ohtani, every pitcher. But you got to do it consistently. Now, some pitchers or hitters, they've got one trick, one move that really works for them. The great ones have 5, 6, 7, 8. And right now we're seeing that the Blue Jays don't go deep enough. They can't win games in enough ways. We've seen that they can win games when it's 2-1 and tight and they make the right play at the right time. They can win that type of game. We haven't seen them win many slugfests, And we haven't seen them blow out enough teams like we did in that big San Diego Padres win. That's so encouraging, but you need to see that once every week or two, and we have not. So the offense is such a big part of this. The pitching right now is enough. The defense we know is more than good enough. It's about the offense. And it's about power, man. This is like year 4 of there not being enough power, going back to that great 2021 team. If you have power, Dan, if the Blue Jays had hit 1-2 more home runs over these last 5 games, we're probably talking about a team that's 500, over 500. Yep. And you don't care if they only had 4 hits in the game because one of them was a home run. Home runs are cool, and they make you forget about everything else. If the Jays only have 2 hits in a game, but they hit a home run and win 3-1, I'm writing about the home run. I don't care if they struck out 20 times. The home run is the story. The win is the story. And they are missing that. They're missing the power, and it's showing. And it hasn't changed the last couple of years. Same story.
You mentioned this is an entertainment business. You mentioned home runs. And the one person providing all of that right now for the Blue Jays is a guy who missed the first, month and a half of the season, Dalton Varsho. Man, this guy's leading the team in every category offensively.
He's such a fun baseball player, man. It's the way he plays the game, the speed, the defense we already know about, but Varsho's built for power. Man, just because he is not 6'5" does not mean that he's not built for power. He is strong, man, like pound for pound, probably one of the strongest players on this roster. And the power has always been in there, but I don't think he's chased it as much. This year, I think you're seeing a hitter who is trying to hit for power. And maybe that means he's only going to hit 220 or something, but if you have a lot of power involved, that's enough. An outfielder as talented as him who can hit you 25 or 30 home runs is ridiculously valuable. And Varsho right now, I think, is playing much more freely. He's allowing himself to want to hit for power, which is a pretty big mental jump for a lot of guys. Getting away from that, listen, let's try to make contact, hit the ball the other way. Hitting the ball the other way is the easiest way to not hit a home run. And we saw earlier in the Texas Rangers series, when you get that 2-run home run, when you can jump ahead just quickly early in the game, it changes everything. And a lot of Dalton Varsho's home runs have come early in the game to give the Blue Jays rare leads early in the game. This team is right now not built to chase a team from behind. They want to be that team. I don't think they are right now. This team is built to take a 3-1 lead and hold on to it. I think their pitching is decent. The defense is really good and can hold on to those leads, but they're not built like the 2015 and 16 teams where they can just chase teams down, come back whenever they want. So Varsho is a huge key to that. And as George Springer kind of goes down, Varsho is picking that up. They need their stars. They need Vladdy. They need Santander, everyone else. But Varsho's been their best story lately, and I don't think it's close.
You mentioned the size of Varsho, which leads me to believe he was a running back in high school. Did he play football?
He did. Not only did he play football, he was a 2013. Why do I know these? I wish I had better things in my brain, man. He was a 2013 coaches selection Wisconsin All-State safety and kick returner, which is kind of what he credits for that ability to adjust and play balls in the air. If I was making an NFL team off of this current roster, he would be my running back. Like, he would be the guy that would run through people, big burst through the hole. He's my running back, but safety and kick returner back in the day in Wisconsin. Green Bay Packers fan, too, so he's a man of fine taste.
He's the Blue Jays' Jeff Samardzija.
Oh, man, did I ever want the Packers to draft Jeff Samardzija out of Notre Dame back in the day. I still remember how much I wanted him to land at the Packers end of the first round. He had to play baseball. The sport where you get paid a lot of money and don't get brain damage. So it's I guess he made the right choice.
Yeah, I think he made the right choice. I actually saw an update on him. Isn't he running a business now?
Oh.
I don't know. Hey, you put out a book. It's called The Franchise. I have a few issues with it. I looked at the back. You did not come to me for a quote on the book. Secondly, you do not have this as the cover of this Blue Jays book that details the history. Myself and And Garth Orge at the age
Man.
of 10, which is the case with a lot of kids. We've discussed this before. In that age range from 8 to 12, you latch onto a player, and that's your player for life. Does Garth Orge make your book?
He does appear in the book.
Yeah,
and I'm trying to think of where, at least by name.
Yeah,
and
perfect. That's all
I'm
I need.
remembering this, Dan, because I'm a baseball card collector. I love spreadsheets and collecting. And one of the card collecting projects I'm working on as I go to shops when I'm on my travels, I'm trying to collect a card of every player I mentioned by name in the book.
Yes.
And so I remember picking up a Garth Orge card. So it's in there somewhere.
Okay.
So that project's been fun. You know who made that project really hard is Buck Martinez, because every story he would tell, he'd be like, well, we were in Kansas City and Jimmy McMillan was there with Chuck. And I'm like, who are these guys? So I'm trying to find cards of guys who played 3 games for the Royals in 1978. But Garth Orge, I believe, is in there, the People's Champion. God bless him. But didn't quite get his own chapter. Maybe next book.
Okay.
But.
So give us a sneak peek. Does this detail the start of the franchise? There must be a lot about Exhibition Stadium. It must be a lot about the 85 Jays and their first ever pennant. That was my favorite team. Okay. Give us a little sneak peek. What do you got?
Yeah, it's the full history of the team. So it goes back to Exhibition Stadium to the very beginning up until today. But I keep saying the important word in the title is curated. It's a curated history. If this was just a history, the book would suck, because there's a lot of Blue Jays history, and you would need to write 10 books. You'd need to write encyclopedias to tell all the stories. So it's the full history of the team, but I got to be picky with which stories I was going to tell. So I got to tell the stories I was interested in, which, is Exhibition Stadium. The opening, how that all looked, how people kind of look at that stadium as like their old college apartment that like was pretty crappy, but it's still charming and they still have a place for it in their hearts. But right up through those great 80s teams, the 90s runs, of course, and a lot of profiles on the big personalities that were members of this organization. And I know people feel far from it right now, Dan, but I keep explaining it as just a book about why people give a damn about this organization. You know, it's 49 years going on 50 next year, which is crazy. I have not been around for all of those years, but a lot of the stories predate me. But it was fun, man. I asked my mom how she liked it the other day, and she said, I really liked Gibby's forward. So that's a great review. I don't know if she's gotten to my parts yet, but hey.
If you could name 3 pillars where you're like, if these people didn't exist, if they weren't in the right place at the right time, then this whole Blue Jay story may not have even happened. Are there 3 of those you can point to?
When I go back through so many of those 80s teams, I have to do Dave Stieb because I'm fascinated by Dave Stieb. If I could have covered one player, it would be Dave Stieb. Going back through, a lot of this book was leaning on old newspaper coverage, archival footage, and archival magazine stories, and reading about Dave Stieb. It's like we don't have a player like that in baseball right now. Like a guy who's known for being cranky and unapproachable, maybe doesn't like the media, kind of battling with the own fame that he's earned. Like Dave Stieb fascinates me. So I loved writing that chapter. Man.
Yeah, how was he seen as his peers? Did they say, he was kind of a dick?
There was a lot of that, and then also a lot of like, but, we all soften up as we age type of thing, and as we go on. And a lot of, Dave never thought the hits were his fault type of stuff. And it's
he glared at outfielders and infielders.
The evil eye. But that's kind of the curse of greatness. I mean, you look at any great player in any sport, they're usually not the guy saying, it's okay, Mike, don't worry about that one. They're normally expect a little too much of people. Mm-hmm. Steve certainly in that. Man, I love talking to so many guys about Cito Gaston. Talking to other players about Cito Gaston made me appreciate how valuable a manager can actually be. And I think we've lost that in modern day Major League Baseball. I think that's a million miles out the window. But what a manager.
He was probably like a dad, therapist, best friend.
100%, because he did not have 48 assistant coaches. He did not have an assistant posture analyst or whatever the hell is in the dugout now. It was all Cito at that point, and that was so important. And, man, then looking at the players, there's always so many of those fascinating arguments about, like, greatest Blue Jay of all time. And it depends on the era, man. If you're 19 years old, 20 years old, you're probably saying it's Jose Bautista because that's who you watched. Man, but going back through the Roy Halladay chapters, the Joe Carter chapters, one thing I really enjoyed, like, kind of thinking about Dan when I was writing this book, and I don't know if I even have an answer in my own brain, but, like, how you value just one moment against a whole career. Like, Joe Carter's home run, man, I know it's been covered to death, but with that one moment, like, that's an all-time, in my mind, a top 3 moment in Major League Baseball history, period. Like, there's been a couple of walk-offs in the World Series like that, home runs. That immediately makes it a top 3 moment for me in the history of baseball. Mm-hmm. And it's what you dream of in the backyard. 3-2 count, here I come, bottom of the 9th, World Series. So, like, kind of trying to find his place in Major League Baseball, in Blue Jays history, and talking to guys about that. But, man, just being able to speak to some
how
of
is
them.
he viewed as his peers? Because I've heard things where they're like, yeah, you didn't really get to know the guy. He was just a teammate.
Yeah, there's a lot of that. A lot of, I don't think people knew the personality as well. And Joe Carter had bounced around different teams and been around elsewhere as well. Joe Carter has not stopped enjoying that home run. And that's a little bit of what I wrote about as well, because moments like that can swallow a man whole. Like, they can become your whole identity. And I have been at 100 charity events and alumni events where everyone coming up to Joe Carter, it's their first time talking to him. It's his 10 millionth time talking about the home run. And he enjoys it just as much today. Like, he is a model for, I think, how you have to. Like, if you're going to be a guy who wins a Super Bowl, wins a World Series, has the big moment, there are ways in which, like winning the lottery, you hear horror stories of people who win the lottery and it ruins their life. Those moments can become suffocating because for the rest of your life, you're not going to have a single normal conversation. No one's going to come up to you and just say, hey, Joe, how you doing? No, they're going to talk about the home run. And he has embraced it, man. He is how you have to do it, because the man has never run out of energy to talk about that home run. And he makes the same joke every time. What home run? Hey!
Well, he plays a character,
okay.
and all the power
Yes.
to him. Like, he plays a character, and he plays it up, and he does it well.
Absolutely, man.
You mentioned lotteries, and it made me just quickly think before we let you go. And these guys were talking about conspiracy theory. They'd never met a lottery winner, and then they dove deep, and they said, 50-50s. Have you ever met a 50-50 winner? And they think there's something shady going on with 50-50s. And now that I think about it, I'm like, I've never met a 50-50 winner.
Never been one either.
And what happened to the days, especially at Jays games, where you got to be there to win it? Now it's like, this draw's in 3 months.
Yeah, and they used to come through the press box to sell tickets too. And I always wondered, like, if I bought one, like if I bought a Jays 50-50 ticket and won it, that would be a little controversial. So I've always thought, like, could I stay anonymous? But at the same time, like, I've never won a 50-50, but I grew up in Nova Scotia, where if you have 100 people in the hockey rink for a
meat raffle
Bantam B game, it's going to be a $10,000 50-50. Like, a maritime 50-50 draw it's why it cracks me up if I'm at a major league game. Like, the 50-50 tonight is $18,000. And I think, man, like the junior B team in my town, that's what it would be on a Tuesday night. Like, you take
Keegan,
your cash to the rink.
If you dive deep, I think there's Ontario laws in which it can't get above a certain amount. That's why you watch an Oilers game, and right now, their 50-50s at like $7 million. There's like rules that prevent that in Ontario, because I asked this question once before. I'm like, this is weird. Why do theirs get to $7 million and this one gets to $18,000?
That's no fun. I got to buy a Blue Jays one next game.
The deep dive into 50-50s.
Into them. You'll see unnamed winner. The winner has asked to remain anonymous, and I will never appear on the internet again. There'll be a new Blue Jays writer at MLB.com. I'll disappear. You'll know who won it.
Wait. So you're going to retire on $18,000?
You know what? Smart investing. We'll see.
That's retirement money, baby.
Yeah, an $18,000 parlay the next morning on
That's right, on Bet Rivers.
There we go.
That's right. Thanks, Keegan.
You got it, man.
Thanks for watching Toronto Sports Rush on the Bet Rivers Network.